towards all broadcasts.
Hello, Facebook. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Twitter. Hey there, MySpace. Are you bitter?
What? That's hilarious. All right, and give me 2 seconds, and then we'll be live on Zoom.
Can't
I
see
just
all
want to
the
make sure that we
can't
are
see all the
live.
Facebook people.
1 second. Just want to make sure that we did go live. Yep, and we are live on Facebook. And now we are broadcasting in 5, 4, 3, 2. Broadcasting.
On Zoom?
Yes, we are live.
Oh, I'm seeing the participant numbers go up.
Going up from 0 to 1. All right, here we go. All right,
Excellent.
all right. Okay, cool.
Right. Welcome.
Byron,
Man,
Satana.
Katana's here today.
Like Byron. Hello,
Hey.
everybody.
Ooh-wee.
Hello.
Yes. Welcome to, I don't know what number it is, and nor do I care. It's been a while. We've been on a hiatus trying to get some things together, but and we accomplished those things. These webinars will be hosted probably every 2 weeks. I think we're looking at second and fourth Friday. Hey, stay tuned because that could change. As a matter of fact, we'd love for you to show up for the next one, which is going to be DAW comparison. That's digital audio workstation comparison. We're going to take the accessible DAWs and we're going to show some tasks from some blind audio engineers in the game, showing how they perform certain tasks in different DAWs. Yeah, and that's that on that. But see, that's going to be on the 5th Friday of the month, so it's not going to be the 4th Friday. So that's why I say got to stay tuned. Thanks for showing up once again today. This is IC Music, where we train the totally blind and visually impaired in audio production and studio engineering as it pertains to adaptive technology and techniques. Woo, woo, woo.
Woohoo! I'm supposed to say something
Ow,
here.
ow.
Aren't I? Hello. Ow. Ow.
Well, no, you don't say anything yet. I'm still doing my thing.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
mute. I'm just gonna be quiet over here.
I'm still doing my thing here. Okay. Yep. And so, of course, we offer, these trainings. You can go and check those out on icmusic.com or www.icmusic.org. And that's ISEEMUSIC. Okay. Sponsors, man. Ooh, Avid, the makers of Pro Tools. I'm going to say them. Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here. The most accessible audio editing software available on the planet. Yeah, I'm going there. I said it. So what? Sweetwater, man, the #1 retailers in audio technology. We love Sweetwater, don't we, like it? Oh,
Absolute, resolute.
yeah, they're great. They've been busy. The quarantine, they've been. Stocks are through the roof. I'm sure.
Absolutely. Got my focus right.
Ooh,
Sweetwater.
like
exciting! Yay.
Nice. What about Shure Microphone? We had them on here, Michael Pedersen.
Waka waka.
Man, right. That was an amazing thing. Hey, they are probably the oldest microphone company since 25, I think it was. They weren't even selling mics then like that. They were selling like stuff through some type of mail order business.
Absolutely. Radio parts, wasn't it?
Radio parts, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Also, lastly but not least, Native Instruments, the makers of all of the complete control and machine. Accessibility at its best in audio production. Those are the industry standard sounds that you hear on the radio. So yeah, and thank you to all of those our sponsors. Today, voice acting. Hey, look, this is a vocation out of this world. If you're looking to possibly work from home, right, if you're looking to, and when you're working from home, it's in the audio industry, so it's probably your passion. If you're looking to actually make some money, not just work, because you know a lot of audio operatives they kind of work, but then they it's a passion, it's a labor of love, if you will, and but if you're looking to actually make a living, draw some income, spark up some revenue if you own your own business, hey, this is the place to be. And we have, I would say, the number one voice actress in the entire world, at least in my world,
Oh, that's very sweet.
one of my faves. Satana. Oh, no, hold on. Before I introduce you, Satana, I'm sorry. Hold on. As I
I'm
just
not
did.
here. I've
As
gone
I just did.
backstage.
Right. I want to say thank you to my girl, like.
Hey, hey.
Hey, like.
Ooh.
I love you all.
She's
I love
holding up
you.
the technical side. She's gonna watch the chat, be the question,
Yeah,
comment
absolutely.
queen.
I'm here, y'all.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Ask questions. I got it.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, enough all that. Okay. We didn't loved up on her enough. Let me move my coffee cup to the side before I knock it down onto the floor. So, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, or Mrs. Satana Howery. Hey, Satana, how you doing?
Hi, Mrs. makes me sound like I'm 100, doesn't it?
I was trying to be respectful of time.
I know.
I like that guy, actually. I think he's kind of cool. So what's been going on, Satana?
Everything is good here at the it's so weird to think of all these fires in California, and right now it's just about 60 degrees Fahrenheit here in upstate New York.
Yeah.
And so there's a fire in the fireplace upstairs.
Mm.
And yet the back door is also open because at that side of the house, the sun is out and it's beautiful. So you can sit out on the back steps and it's nice and cozy. But if you go out onto the other side of the house, it's cold.
You're
so,
an asshole.
Yeah.
So voice acting, right? And this is a cool profession. Let me ask you this: How long have you been in this field?
I've been doing voice acting professionally since 2013. I did a little bit of it when I was a teenager. I grew up as a musician, so lots and lots of music, lots of songwriting and singing and piano and keyboard playing and audio engineering and producing other people's stuff and all like that. And voice acting sort of appeared kind of in, it would just kind of pop up in my life every now and then.
Absolutely.
But I kept having wild ideas that I was going to make my own demos, and that never materialized. And so that slowed me down. When I finally got off my butt and let somebody else do all the heavy lifting, then it got going.
So now, were you blind at 13?
Yeah, I was born blind.
Okay.
So, and when I say blind, I mean I grew up reading Braille. I don't have any shadows. I don't have any colors. I don't have any light perception or anything. It's blind. It's not partially this or visually impaired that or anything. I'm blind.
So you're just coming through school as a Braille reader, which
Yes.
probably was a skill that you were picking up later on for your vocation.
Yes.
At hand now, current vocation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let me ask you this. So in voice acting, what has been probably the biggest barrier to entry as a blind woman?
Oh, wow. I hadn't thought about that question.
Byron sits around and thinks about these things.
Biggest barrier. Okay, so here's one of the cool things about this industry.
Yeah.
There are things that sighted people think if you go out, shouting to the tops of the roof, I'm blind. Then, wow, what about your Braille display? And maybe you need your own space. And do you have somebody editing for you in your own studio? Because, obviously, how could you do that? So sort of those myths. But one of the great things about this industry is that so much of it here in this 21st century is done from home. And in fact, why should you love this career even in a pandemic? Because it survives even in a pandemic. The people who fell apart in this pandemic who were voice actors were the people who lived in the big cities and who were never used to going into studios to be we're not used to doing their own thing anyhow. Like they didn't have home studios. They weren't set up to do it
That
on
makes
their own.
sense.
They
Yeah.
didn't have the technical stuff to make that happen. So if you know your stuff, you can do this anywhere. I've done this in hotel rooms. My husband and I went to London for 2 weeks in 2017. And in the mornings, we would get up and we would both work because we were both self-employed at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the afternoons and the evenings were ours.
Wow.
So really, you can, if you know your stuff, you can do this anywhere. It's pretty cool.
And because technology really lends itself to that, is what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
being, because primarily just using a laptop and, an interface possibly, which a
Yep.
lot of the microphones nowadays, USB microphones, do you think that the USB mics are good enough quality?
I think they're good enough starter quality. I wouldn't. I haven't met a USB microphone that I'm in love with.
Really?
I don't know why people are like love the blue stuff. I don't
It's
love
interesting.
I don't love the blue stuff, like blue Yetis and things like that. But
Yeah.
let me say that they are definitely used, and
Right.
it depends on sort of where you are and what you're trying to do and that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, people do it, people use them, and people get hired. So
So we were talking about barriers to entry. What is it that sighted people like? What do they think? What are some like mysticisms?
I think sighted people do tend they do tend to think that I have somebody else in my studio doing my editing or something or doing my recording for me or
An
something.
engineer,
like
you saying?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think that there's a misconception that it's just not possible to read fast enough. And I particularly see this among coaches who have come across other blind people who haven't figured out how to lift the copy off the page and do their reading effectively.
Yes.
And so they make the assumption that, one blind person can't do it. It must not be possible for anybody. And if you do, you're an uncommonly fast Braille reader. That's like, I can quote somebody saying that. So yeah, I think that is a bit of a myth out there.
Some people can do it like with voiceover or JAWS or narrator or whatever screen reader chattering in one ear.
Yeah.
And regurgitate what that screen reader is saying and say and do an amazing job at voice acting. Is that not a thing?
I have seen that kind of thing, yes. I have not seen anybody doing that where they're doing ultra long form stuff like hours of e-learning or audiobooks. Not saying it isn't possible. I'm just saying I don't know of anybody who is voice acting who is blind that is doing anything lengthy using that skill set.
Yeah, I would say it would be a lot of practice involved. You'd have to read that book about 600 times, and then maybe you could just recite it from memory.
I think it's a skill set you could develop. I mean, I really do.
was
It's
trying
not a
to be
skill
funny
set
right
I
there.
personally have, but it's a skill set I think you could develop.
So you are a Braille reader. How do you? Someone sends you a script. It's probably a PDF, I'm sure.
Not necessarily. I get PDFs. I get DocX scripts. I get Google Drive scripts. I get things in Dropbox I got to download. I get every now and then I will get pictures or Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah.
So scripts, pages, pages scripts. Oh, those just, yeah.
What's wrong with those? I mean, what
well, you need a Mac to, or you can open them up on your phone.
Oh,
save them
okay,
out as a
okay.
text
Oh,
file
if
or
you got an
whatever.
iPhone, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
okay.
save them out.
That's what.
But scripts come in all forms, boy.
And you got to be ready for that.
Yes, yeah, you have to know that kind of stuff.
So how are you getting to Braille? How do you get it into Braille?
Well, I mean, your Braille display is a monitor, right? It just outputs that way. Now, it depends on if it's a picture, I can attempt to OCR it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that might work.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, then, I send it off to somebody. I'll either call, it depends on how quickly I need it flipped around.
Yeah.
If I don't need it super fast, I'll just send it off to a virtual assistant. If I want it immediately, I'll call Ira.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
And I'll
Both good
just say,
ideas.
okay, here's this, and you can have at it.
Yeah.
So,
Ooh. Okay.
yeah.
But so I'm going to back up a little bit about this Braille display, which I know a lot of folks may or may not know what that is. Like, so when I say how do you get this thing over into Braille, it's not like you're printing these off and you have a hard copy.
No,
Braille
although I know that
display.
there are blind voice actors that prefer it that way and actually are not used to using Braille displays and emboss everything.
Yeah, and I can imagine why. Well, but so what is a Braille display?
So a Braille display is, for the most part, a one line of Braille, and oftentimes they have a Braille keyboard on them. The new Mantis has a QWERTY keyboard right on it. Ooh, that's very cool.
Really?
Yeah, 40 cell Braille display with a QWERTY keyboard right on it. Braille displays can be as small as 12 cells across or as wide as 80, maybe 84 if they've got
80.
4 status cells on the side.
Hmm.
My preferred sizes are 20, 32, and 40. 20 is great because it just fits over your shoulder. You can just carry it around. 32, you can carry around too.
Yeah.
40 cells to me is too wide to carry around. It's too long.
Okay.
And so I have a 40 cell sitting in front of me. I have a Brilliant sitting in front of me. And behind that, I have a 32 cell Braille Sense U2. It's an oldie but a goodie. And then I have a 20 cell Polaris upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
That's very cute.
Yeah.
A cute little Polly Pocket. So basically, Braille displays can be a terminal, so they can just connect to your computer and be the output device. Like your monitor is your output device, your Braille display is an output device. If you took the monitor away from your computer,
Yes.
everything still would go into the computer. If you were typing, you just wouldn't be able to see it. So,
Right.
same with a Braille display. It's a blind person's monitor. So you can use it as a terminal, just as the monitor. A lot of Braille displays have note-taking capabilities, and so like the Braille Sense that I was mentioning is a note taker as well. The Polaris is a note taker. The new Chameleon and Mantis, the displays from APH, both have note taking capabilities, which is great because you can move files from your computer onto the Braille display directly. And so you can pick up that Braille display and walk away with it, away from your computer, and still have those files in your hands, which I appreciate. For me, because I was mentioning that I have 2 Braille displays sitting in front of me here, I like being able to see my computer screen on one display and being able to read my script on the other one. That's just my preferred workflow. Braille displays do allow you to jump. Oh, that's one reason. The other reason is the Brilliant here that I have in front of me is not a note taker. It is only a terminal. It doesn't have any Braille note-taking capabilities. So it is only meant to be like a monitor would be on somebody's computer.
Yeah.
And while you can jump between the screen and the note-taking capabilities on any Braille display that has those capabilities, you still have to do a key command to do it. There's no way to split the Braille display in half and see a screen on one side and your note-taking document on the other. You can't look at 2 things at once kind of thing, the way that a sighted person can split screen a document on one side and their digital audio workstation on the other side. So for me, I like to have the 2 Braille displays because then I can see different things at the same time. Because I can, I got 2 hands. I can put a hand on each Braille display and look at things. So,
Yeah, that's talent.
So yeah,
that's talent. That's why you play the piano, right?
I do.
Isolation. Yeah. So okay,
Are you lost? Because I can help.
That last little bit of information
I
kind of blew my
I got
mind
a whole plan laid out here.
So okay, now you are a Mac and a Windows user.
I am. I'm more of a Windows user. I have a Mac. I have all sorts of cool Mac things, and I still can't manage to drop my Windows completely. I can't shatter the Windows and dump them completely. I grew up on Windows, man. I used to do Microsoft technical support way back in the 90s. It is familiar. Yeah.
So, but is that a requirement? You think as a voice actress?
No,
especially a
I don't
blind
think it's
one.
a requirement at all. No, I think you should use what you know. I absolutely think you should use what you know.
Yeah. So do you,
I mean, if you're going to switch operating systems, boy, you better be prepared for a serious learning curve. And some people can handle that and they can make it work. But I think it's unnecessary.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I can.
I thought I muted myself. Sorry. Nope. So do you have any formal training though? Like as far as being a voice actress? I mean, like acting classes?
I have formal training that I got after I started working, because I started working with voice coaches and things like that who helped better inform the choices I make when I read copy and things like that. But no, I don't have a degree in acting or anything like that. No. Okay.
So persons who are looking to get into this thing, who just have the ability to translate well over recording, and can read well, this may be an option.
Yeah. Can I do my spiel? Can I just do my spiel?
Hey, look, I think this is a great time to do your spiel.
Okay. So voice acting, aka voiceover, what we're here to talk about. I get a lot of people who come to me from the internet broadcasting space because, of course, internet radio is cool. Yeah. And blind people love radio. I grew up listening to old time radio, loved old time radio, loved radio, period. Went to sleep with my radio on, saved up money when I was like 12 years old to buy my first compact disc player. It gives you an idea how old I am. Totally aging myself.
The fact that you called it compact disc, that let
CD
me
player,
yeah, CD player might have been a little younger.
CD player, 95 years ago. Yeah, so And it's great that you've done internet broadcasting, but the fact is that nobody in this industry really is going to care that you know station playlist. So there are broadcast, sort of internet broadcast jobs like radio imaging.
What is that? What is that?
What is radio imaging? Oh, you'll know what I'm talking about. All right, can I share my screen?
Well, it doesn't matter to me, but I think other people that can see might love to see that.
Okay, here we go. I'm sharing the screen. Screeny beanie.
Is the screen up there? Everything looks okay?
Here's my imaging demo. Now, this is just one version, right? Because there's adult contemporary genre. There's the Christian rock genre. There's, soft rock and country. And this is just my imaging demo. This is a pretty broad-based, not specific to a particular niche.
He looks like your typical New Yorker, and not in a good way. But he still gets more action than you. Howard Stern on Sirius Satellite Radio. Have a question for Dr. Laura? Email us at drlaura@foxradio.com. Now, back to the Dr. Laura Show. It's now time for the Top 8 at 8. Top 8 at 8 on Cool 101.7 Columbus. You're listening to Bloomberg Information Radio. Business starts here. Whatever happens in sports, hear it first on ESPN 1390 and FM 97.1. ESPN. KKHT 100.7 FM. Your home for classic country. DJ in the mix now on Mix 98.9 FM. Turn it up. Someone's gonna get a shot. And it could be you. At $100,000. Amp Radio. 100.7. Change the music. Change the world.
Oh. Radio imaging. Ooh. So, yeah. there are jobs where
Let's be clear. That was you. That was you.
That was me.
Wow.
Yeah, that was me. There was a lot of very announcery stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who makes those decisions? Like you, because there was a lot of like stutter edit stuff I heard and verify and all these.
Yeah,
different types
this
of
is the thing
effects.
about doing your own demos. Can you? Yeah. Should you? Well,
Maybe not.
yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Because the producers do a great job, and sound design is huge. Let me play you something else that everybody who comes to me wants to do. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
wants to do animation. Here's my animation demo. What makes this demo so great, quite honestly, is the sound design.
The baby threw up on the dog and the dog is eating it!
Maybe I'm just a biomechanical engineer, sending impulses to your optic nerve via holographic transponder.
What's that moving in the trees? What are you?
Enemy fighters attacking our base. We need defenders. Look at it.
I'm not afraid. What was that? There's no such thing as monsters. There's no such thing as monsters. There's no such thing as...
At last, you're mine. And soon, the kingdom of Hakala will be too. Don't worry, my sweet girl. We'll find you. Sorry, friend, but you've come to the wrong place. We don't ignore what's happening in the world. Now get out!
Oh my God! Gross! When's the last time these towels were washed?
If you wish to continue on your journey, you must first learn the lesson. Will somebody please shut that thing up?
Meow-wees, they are rapidly fading. Oh, my mind is degrading. Meow, meow, meow.
So there's so much great sound design in that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Is that bed already there like that, and you just come in over that?
No,
and you're
no.
inspired?
No,
or?
in the session, all you're doing is reading scripts that have already been provided to you. Now, in this particular demo's case, that last piece where I'm singing, I wrote the words.
Okay.
And I found the music bed. And then the very first thing, the baby threw up on the dog. That was spontaneous. We were in the session. I was recording things, and it just came out of my mouth, and everybody thought it was really funny. So I did a couple reads of it. So in a session like that, and these sessions are all done remote. I'm here, and the people that recorded that demo were in Los Angeles.
Incredible.
And so I'm sitting here, and in fact, I using a piece of software called Source Connect. It's a beefed up Skype. It's a beefed up voice over IP. It's a beefed up Zoom kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they're literally recording me on their side. And so they can edit takes, and they can put things together right on their side, because in that case, you have a studio engineer.
Okay. Right. Right.
Yeah.
I mean that's full-fledged production.
Yes.
I mean, Jesus Jones.
Yeah.
So okay. So.
And there's a little bit of a story like where the bird is, where somebody please tell that thing to shut up. There's a high pitched voice going.
Yeah.
That was me too. Right. So like somebody put all of that together. Right. And so part of making a demo is, what choices do you make? What do you put first? How do you create a storyline? There are, in the UK, it's kind of a thing to do demos that are set up as they sort of have a story and a theme running throughout.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
So, yeah, but everybody I talk to, everybody wants to do animation and video games. So here's what I want you to get. First of all, with internet broadcasting, you can do radio imaging things. There are people who need voices for their station.
Yeah.
And I know one person who, the shows are pre-recorded. And so they actually create all of the dialogue in between songs, and they just send that to the producer. But all they're doing is putting together just the dialogue pieces, and they're sending those files, and the producer on the other side is the one who puts the whole show together. So all they have to do is record and send, which is pretty great.
The producer position, that is a real vocation, right? Like you could just produce internet radio because this could go into podcasting, which obviously, right?
Yes, and there's a lot of podcast intros and outros that you can get paid to do as well, and then sort of the middle sections of the podcast where those are kind of the ad spaces, right? You talk about the sponsors or talk about what's coming up next, or in fact, I have one of those. My daughter also does voiceover. We're a voiceover family here, folks.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. So here's her little podcast intro. And by the way, consider the niche, right, as well, because what do you want to do? Who do you want to market yourself to? So here's hers.
Welcome to Propel, a monthly podcast report of the world outreach efforts of the Rocky Mountain Ministry Network. This month, Bradley will be talking with a U.S. and world missionary, as well as sharing a practical resource to help you cast visions for missions in your own local church.
Ooh.
Yeah.
California.
Yeah, right. She's little millennial.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but here's a fun character one that she did, and this is like an audition case where we left the breaths in, because sometimes when you do character auditions, you want to leave the breaths in because, if you laugh and stuff, you don't want to cut them out with any kind of noise.
Right.
Right.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to sound like real dialogue.
Yeah. So let me crank the volume on this because it's an audition that isn't normalized and it's a lower volume. Here we go.
Well, everyone here calls me Rubber Rachel, or Rachel the Rubber Girl. But you can call me Rachel. Yeah, Rachel works just fine. Oh, I'm a contortionist. I'm super flexible, just like a rubber band. I can wrap my legs behind my head like a human knot, or even a pretzel. Or squeeze into a fishbowl, or stretch, just like chewing gum. Pretty much anything. I don't need a plane ticket. Just compress me into a suitcase and away I go.
And this is why voice acting is just so much fun. It's so much fun.
You now you do know, right? Like when you have a vocation, you cannot be having fun. Work has to be miserable. What the hell is going on here? So check it out, right?
What I do want to say about what voice acting is not, because here's another thing that comes up for me. I get people who come up and they talk about how they're so great at voiceover. I think they'd be really good at it. They have a really good voice, and they can do 100 accents, and they're so good at accents. Yeah. And then they start doing an accent that's just like this, and it's really over the top. And I mean, it's just, I'm telling you that if you were to audition like this, the only time you'd get a read like this is I did an audition like this recently, and in the audition, I was a cow. I was a cow, and I was talking about my milk. But can you do those accents and read the newspaper? That's it. That's what you have to be able to do. We want less announcers today, and we want more real voices. You want to hear a real voice. Here's Kira again. And
that's your daughter.
It is. That's my daughter, Kira. Yeah. If you call Ira and you get a Kira, ask if she's my daughter, because she's an Ira agent. But this is sort of a really calm read, right?
Okay. Yep.
Why? Why do we do it? Mark.
Sorry.
Is it a symbol of achievement? Love? Boredom? Maybe it's simply wanting others to recognize that you've been there, that you exist. Maybe we're just having a conversation with each other. We don't know what we're talking about, but we're communicating. Or maybe we leave a mark on the places and things in the world that forever leave a mark on us.
Mm,
Yeah, right?
yeah.
And that sort of calm, she's not announcing.
Right.
She's just being pretty calm. And that's it. That's that real sort of conversational thing that people want these days.
So your daughter, I mean, I mean, she's a young lady. I mean, she's over 18, right? I
Yep.
mean, she's out of high school.
Oh, yeah.
So what about like kids getting into voice acting? Oh, is that me? Oh yeah, that's me. Oh.
I know. People been calling me too. Bug.
Let's see. Let's stop this process.
Yeah, kids can definitely get into voice acting. Acting. You can get into voice acting. And there are certainly classes and coaches that teach it, and jobs where you can do it. So it's
Yeah.
I mean, you can be, 65 and do voice acting. It's all ages. And it's really all voices, There's a lot of space. The Spanish voiceover industry is growing in a big way. So lots of Latino voices wanted out there. Lots of African American voices wanted out there. And for women, it's a really great time to be in voiceover because, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, it was like the good old boys network and everybody was these big announcing voices. And now it's not like that at all. So real voices, just like I'm talking to you right now, just that real sort of conversational voice kind of space. So if you think that you're amazing at accents, ask yourself, can you
Read
talk
that
in this
newspaper
accent?
and that.
Just
Yeah.
every day. Can you have an everyday conversation in that accent that isn't some kind of character other than the character of, a real person?
So Tana, because we were talking about this before we logged on here. I've talked to different people that are interested in acting. Folks who do have accents. Just natural accents. Born and raised in certain regions of the country, outside this country. And they say they want to sound neutral. They don't want to be. They don't want to have this sort of kind of type of bias, I guess, if you will. And they do develop some type of complex when it comes to that. One thing that I do know is, especially in the Black community, a lot of folks who are interested in voice acting, they'll say, "Oh, I sound too urban," And I hate that because, there is a need for your voice in this game, and I think that I don't care if it's in e-learning. I don't care if it's in reading a book, right? Because like I was reading, I was reading this this novel, and it was about a Black guy who was in love with a white woman, and they were both actors, well, an actor and an actress. But the way the gentleman that was reading this book, oh my God, man, it was incredible. He drew me in, like just on his ability to, make these. And I'm talking like, so the Southern white girl from Kentucky, whose family was super wealthy. And he had he had a way of being able to, make me understand that this was her talking, even though the writing was impeccable. But but this was her talking on one side, and on the other side, this was the gentleman talking. And that just was, I was just blown away by that.
That's the acting
by his
piece
ability.
Of it.
Yeah.
It's called voice acting.
Yeah, and you knew this was a Black man that was telling the story, that was narrating this story, but it's still at the same time I was like, whoa, man, this was incredible. But yeah, so and I think you could get to those places if you and I say this about every person in audio, learn your accents. I'm not saying be able to perform them, but learn experience other cultures and other ways of lives, so that you can become a more well-rounded individual. Your money will reflect that in this industry, correct? Is that fair?
I think you have to decide what it is that you want to do. If you want to do audiobooks, accents are going to be valuable for you. If you want to do character work, okay, fine. If you want to do e-learning, then I don't know that it necessarily matters. You know what I'm saying? You have to decide where to put your money.
And I'm not
So
saying be able to do these things. I'm just saying primarily.
you're just saying listen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with
exactly.
listening. But in
Yeah.
terms of putting your money somewhere, you got to figure it out. So let's talk about the voiceover coat. And this coat's got a double T. It's a COATT voiceover coat. It's the equipment skills you need to get into this industry. So C is for commitment. And what I mean by that is that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's work. People come to me and they're like, I can do voiceover. I'm going to go do voiceover. Great, go do voiceover. But you need a whole bunch of things to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to be an illustrator, you don't just get out a pencil and sit down and draw unless you've got some serious natural talent. And even if you've got some serious natural talent, it doesn't matter if you're hanging out in your closet with your sketchbook because nobody sees it.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
you have to be committed to making it work. And that means you're going to get up and you're going to work on it every day, and you're going to fall on your face a number of times.
Wow.
And you're still going to get back up and you're going to do it. It's a lot of work.
Commitment.
So,
Yeah.
and my story with that actually is that when I started this, I did auditions on an online casting site for like 3 days. And I did like 35 auditions and I was like thinking this was great. And I got nothing. I got like one thumbs up. One short list. And I was like, God, this is a ton of work. This is ridiculous. And then a few months later, I attended a webinar from someone who had been in voice acting for a long time. And they had come to online casting sites recently. And they had to relearn everything because, doing it online was different than going into the studios and just being a voice actor, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yes.
But they had to relearn it. And it took them over 100 auditions to get an actual paid booking on an online casting site. And in that moment, I went, oh, well, clearly I gave up too soon. Let me just restart this process. Yeah. So my mindset changed. My mindset completely changed. And it was interesting because I went back in, same site, I changed my setup a little bit. I was upstairs in an office with all laminate hardwood kinds of flooring. So lots of, woody sort of echoey noise on the dog claws clicking around behind me. And my daughter was a lot younger at that time too. So, yeah, exactly. Right. And so I had a box. In front of me and I had a tabletop mic stand sitting in the box. And the box was all lined with foam. It was like, 2-foot box, like shoulder to shoulder. Right?
Sure.
If you put your hand, that was the size of the box, and it wasn't that big. And think of like from the top of your head to, I don't know, the top of your stomach was sort of the top to bottom box frame.
Yeah.
And I auditioned and I worked that way. And I got booked within the first couple of days of doing it that way.
Really?
Yes.
So.
Yes. And so then I was hooked. Once I got booked, I was hooked. I'm rhyming.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm doing the poetry thing. Once I got booked, then I was hooked.
I'm a poet, don't even know it.
It was amazing because like my first month, I made about $950. And it was just so much fun. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. At the time, I was doing a church gig every Sunday.
Yeah.
And if you know me, you know I'm not a really great morning person.
Yeah, because I called one time and found that out the hard way.
The piano at church every Sunday and getting paid for it. But God, the church was like half hour, 40 minutes away from my house. You know, so Tom and I, my husband, we'd get up every Sunday and we'd go do the thing. And we had to drive all the way there. And then you have the service and you got to drive all the way home. And all of a sudden, I
Sure.
had this voice acting thing where I was like, I'm sitting in my office behind this box and I'm getting paid. You know, my first job was just $100.
Yeah.
$100.
Yeah.
But man, it was amazing. So I was hooked. Okay, so we talked about commitment. You got to have commitment. Then you got to have organization. 'Cause here's
yeah.
the thing. This is a business. And we all get excited about the creativity and the characters that we can come up with. Wow. And how cool is that? But at the end of the day, somebody's got to collect the money.
That's right.
And you have to sometimes go after clients multiple times to collect the money. And then you got to keep track of the collected money because at the end of the year, then you got to put it all together so that you can pay the tax.
Sure.
Man, some of that collected money. And you got to keep some of that collected money in a separate space and collect it in some space where you're going to have it to pay to the tax man come next year.
If you don't,
right?
you will spend it.
Yeah, right. Because this is not like a 9-to-5 job where somebody gives you a W-2 and they take out your taxes and they take out your, your employment, everything. It doesn't work that way. You are your own boss, and that means you are responsible for all your own stuff.
Right. Makes sense.
So there's that. Okay,
the
we
O,
have the C
organization.
for commitment. We got the O for organization. We got A, which is audio. This is a competitive space.
Yes.
So you want your audio to be clean. You know, you want to have a quiet space to do this in. So the dogs barking in the background of your audition is probably not a good idea.
It's not allowed.
No. You want to have a space that preferably doesn't have a lot of echoey stuff in the back. If I clap my hands, I'm in a 4x6 booth here. If I open the door, I can hear the room behind me.
Yes.
And, you might be able to hear it. I can hear the echo behind me if I clap,
That's a
too.
big house. Yeah, that's a big house.
Yeah, it's a basement. I'm in a basement.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm in a big old basement. So, yeah, it's finished. It's a finished
Oh, okay.
that I'm
okay.
in. But, yeah. But this room, for me, I'm in a 4x6 whisper room booth. So it's all foam. It's all insulated. It's, there's this big, heavy door with a window in it, and you close the door. And
Did y'all build that or?
No, what happened for me was there I was with my phone box. My phone box. And hey, like I said, I made almost $1,000 in that first month. So I was getting booked off the phone box. Me and the phone box, we were doing good work together. But I got a coach. And he said to me, your reads are great. Your audio's a problem. You are probably losing jobs because the quality of your audio isn't up to snuff. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to fix it.
Yeah.
So I went out and I dropped, $4,000 on a whisper room booth. Now, I was lucky that I was able to do that. I had, like I said, I was playing out at restaurants at the time as a musician, and I was working a church gig. And
some income coming in.
And my husband was working full time.
Yeah.
So I had the benefit of his paychecks as, mortgage,
that was the both of you
grocery,
paycheck.
food. Yeah. But what I'm saying is I
know what you're
had,
saying.
because of my other musical work, I had money that I could just throw into voiceover.
Yes.
And I trusted after getting booked in those first few days of, deciding to really give it a second try. And after hearing from this coach that my reads sounded great and I wasn't booking even more because I didn't have my audio up to snuff, I trusted it was going to work out.
Yeah.
So I dumped money into the booth, and it was really fun. It came on a pallet. And you just screw it together. So I remember carrying the wall pieces and the floor piece. I was on one side and Tom, my husband, was on the other, and we'd carry him down the stairs into the basement and we'd set it up. And you just screwed it together. It took us a few hours to put it together, and it was really fun. But, so if we had to move it, we could. But yeah.
So, but okay. Well, okay. I'll let you go ahead. So that's the audio, right? Like the environment.
That's the audio. But let me say this. I want to point out
too. Yeah.
We're going to get to that. That's one of the T's.
That's
one of the T's. Yeah. Don't worry. The audio is important. And if you're not going to dump your money into a booth, and I totally get it, just when my husband and daughter decided to get into voiceover, we took another room in the basement and we made it into Studio B. And essentially, he just made these wood frames that he screwed to the studs in the bottom of the walls, and they go up to the ceiling.
Yeah.
And we just put fabric over the top of them. I mean, literally, you could take the fabric isn't screwed on, it's not nailed down or anything. We just hung fabric over the top of these wooden frames, and they just cover all of the walls in this room. And we left enough room to slide a frame onto the ceiling to cover that space, and so the whole room is just covered in pieces of wood that are covered in fabric. That's it.
Nice.
And it works. It's not quite as quiet as my booth.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely, when you close that door, it's quiet enough. It really does work. It really does damp down that echo. So the biggest thing you're going to get is you're going to get an echo in your space, and you're going to get maybe a low hum. So if you've got a desktop and it's got fans and things like that, try to move that desktop away from you. You got an older laptop with a drive that isn't a solid state drive, try to move that laptop away from you.
Yeah.
Use an external keyboard. You're blind. You don't need a monitor. Right? So you got the advantage. You can put the laptop on the other side of the room and string chords. Really. In my booth, there's no laptop. The laptops are outside.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wow.
So, yeah.
Even so, if you got the tower, I mean, man, they got those with those cases, those quiet cases.
Yep.
That you can put the PC in.
Yeah.
Or your tower, or whatever whatever it is that you have.
Yeah.
So that's the A, the audio.
It is. Okay, the first T is the talent.
Ooh.
You gotta be able to get stuff off the page.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so this
Ain't that
is, we
something?
talked about this earlier, people's idea that you can't read fast enough with a Braille display and all like that there.
Yeah.
I don't care whether you can see or not. You've got to be able to read the script. And this is another thing. When you think you're so great and you have all these accents and all these wonderful voices, can you read and do the voice? Because if you're doing animation or video game work, yes, you've got some leeway in improvising. And improvisation's a great skill, for sure. And it'll really help you, regardless of what genre you're in. But if you're reading an explainer video, it's 2 minutes a copy. Meet Joe. Joe has a problem. His problem is blah, blah, blah. But we've got a solution. Introducing Joe's new groove, or whatever. You don't get to deviate from the script. You have to read what's in front of you.
Yeah, right.
And sometimes you have to read it in a certain amount of time. Listen, we want this video in 1 minute and 30 seconds. So then you go back to the client. And it's like, all right, you really mean 1 minute and 40? Are you okay with 1 minute and 20? Or do you, how 1 minute and 30-ish are, and sometimes you get, well, we've already shot the video. And so we really, great, send me the video. But you have to be able to lift that copy off the page.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to read it quickly enough. You have to be able to, read a little bit ahead of what you're saying to kind of see what the next thing coming up is. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you're doing it with Braille. I don't care if you're doing it with large print, or if you're doing it like we were talking about earlier with the speech.
Yes.
You got to be able to figure out how is that going to work for you? What's your methodology going to be? And really make that work.
You just skipped something past me too, which was okay, just send me the video. And I'm like, you can't see.
No, but what the video is going to give you, depending upon how far along they are, the video is going to give you a couple things. One, it's going to give you the music that they're using. And that music can really inform your read.
Absolutely.
So if you're here and you're reading like this, and they're using a bompity, 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 you're like, all right, I got to, kick it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, knowing the music that they've selected is really valuable. It's like being able to know what the visuals are.
Sure.
And the thing is, a lot of the scripts that you'll get will come with visuals. They'll be in a table, and there'll be 3 columns. Column 1 is the scene number. Column 2 is the visuals. Column 3 is the voiceover. So when you're looking at this, you're going to look at all those visuals because you want to know the story. Because even if you're reading an explainer video, it's still acting. You're still telling a story.
Yes.
And you need to know what that story is about.
Yes.
So
yes.
when you read the script, finally, you're going to probably remove the visuals column. Because on a Braille display, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to read, because it's linear, right?
Right.
So if you're just reading along, you're going to see all that visual information. Yeah, okay, I know. You can move. There are table commands in a screen reader that you can use to move up and down a particular
absolutely.
column. But you're not going to want to lift your hands off that Braille display to do that. You're going to want to be able to read seamlessly.
Yeah, right.
So just get all the extraneous garbage out of the way and be reading the stuff that you need to see. And that
T.
brings us to the last T. To get all that garbage out of the way, you need to know your tech. And by the way, this is one of the most important T's is the most important. Like, you need the whole voiceover code, okay? But look, if you can't read copy, that's one thing. But because you can do it line by line. Plenty of people can edit stuff together, right?
Sure.
If you know your technology, you can edit the heck out of yourself and make yourself sound great.
Yeah.
It is the most important thing. Like I said earlier, the people in the pandemic who fell apart were those who essentially didn't know their tech. They didn't have a home studio. They didn't have their audio figured out. They didn't have the equipment, and they didn't know how to use a digital audio workstation to edit anything together. They didn't know anything about EQ or, how to take their mistakes out of the way and, create something clean. And, when you first press the record button, there's a moment where I hit the record button and then because I'm not using a foot switch, but I hit the record key and then my hands are moving from the keyboard to the Braille display. So there's, a little second of silence, right?
Yeah.
Or noise, depending on how
Noise.
loud
I was about to say,
I am.
it sounds mechanical to me. Yeah.
And so I have to trim that off. The beginning and the end of my audition, I want to trim it off, right?
Yes.
So little things like that. And when we go back to that video that somebody's going to send me, if they've already shot the video and it's 1 minute and 30 seconds, the easiest way for me to read that is to pop it open in my DAW of choice. For me, that's Reaper most of the time. And so the video is on one track and I'm reading on a second track, and I just start the video and off I go. And I know it fits in the time that they want because I'm listening to the music and I know when the video ends.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
If I get a
makes
video
sense.
from a client that's only visuals and is no audio, then I pick up the phone and I call Ira. Okay, what's going on in this video?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Right? Everybody remember, if you are not using the IRA Small Business Offer, it is amazing. So the IRA Small Business Offer, really quick, is for people who are in this country and you can do it in any country that IRA is in, actually. You've got free 30 minutes of tasks for your small business. And when those 30 minutes are up, you just call back. And you get another free 30 minutes. And you get another free 30 minutes. And anything that's related to your small business.
Yes.
Whether it's buying equipment for your small business. Whether it's take the yellow portions. I get scripts where they've changed a few words. Yeah, they've changed a few words here and there. They just want me to read the yellow portions. Oof. Good grief. And they've left the entire script. Rather than just sending me the lines they want me to reread, which is the professional way to do it, and you got a good client when they do that, they send you the whole script. And they just highlight the stuff they want you to reread because they've changed words or whatever. So it's really easy with a 20-page script to just hand it to a virtual assistant or hand it to Ira and go, I just need the sentences that have the yellow.
Ooh, makes sense.
And they will put that document together for me. So, you got to know your tech.
Wow.
Got to know your tech.
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
I want to tell one more story about tech, which is that look, really, I cannot stress enough that this is the most important thing.
Yeah.
It is the most important thing. If you do not, I know somebody who has spent a lot of money, thousands of dollars, working with coaches to read copy. And that's great. But you can read copy all day. If you can't turn it around quickly
Right.
out
Right.
of your digital audio workstation in your home studio, I don't care how well you read it, you're not going to get hired. So you have to stop reading copy at some point with expensive coaches who are charging you $175 an hour. And I've worked with those coaches and they're worth it. But put your money into the things that you need to learn.
Well,
you have got to have the technology piece.
And so, and you were talking about this yesterday in training, and working on mixing. You know, there is a such thing as, you know, turning these projects around, period, point blank. When you're in the service industry, as we are, you know, there's a certain level of, you know, what's expected of you, right? And that timely manner of delivery is probably 50% of it, I would.
Yeah,
probably,
it's
I
critical.
mean,
The customer service aspect, and this is part of that organization piece, right?
Sure.
That part of that is that admin business side. You are going to be talking to customers. You have to be professional about it. You have to finish things when you say you're going to finish them or when the client wants them. And look, you also need to be using a digital audio workstation for which you can find support. And I say this because people come to me using Audacity. And my feeling about Audacity is, A, I haven't tried it in a number of years.
Right.
So I can't speak very well to it. But my experience is that I don't know anybody who's using it in a professional capacity. And when I say professional capacity, the primary thing I'm talking about is sit down and do a 5-hour audiobook in Audacity for me. Edit it up, clean up all your mistakes, you know, master it to Audible standards, you know, the whole thing. Do it in Audacity and then let me know how it works for you, because I don't know anybody who's doing that. If you're doing your own podcast, your standards are your standards and it doesn't matter. If you're doing something for a client,
Sure,
you need to do it to their standards. And that's where it's a struggle. Audacity's free and that's wonderful. But in terms of getting support from the blindness community, I don't know anybody who's using it professionally.
right.
So
No, I agree.
use
I agree with
something
that.
where you're going to have a lot of great support for it.
So before we move any further, I just want to make sure that we don't have any questions, because I got my computer.
Oh my God, we got a problem. We're an hour into this, and I told people when I sent the announcement, I'm going to talk for a little bit, but you're going to have a ton of time to, you know.
like.
Please, we need to have the questions. Please. What do you all want to know? I'm going to stop talking.
Sierra would like to know if you need to take voice acting classes or can you just go into the work if you have the talent.
Hold on, who is this?
Her name is Sierra.
Sierra. Oh, okay, that's a pretty name. Thank you for the question, Sierra.
Yes, you can go into the work if you think you have the talent. Absolutely. Actually, there is discussion in the industry about how untrained voice actors have changed the industry, right? This is how we've come into things like vocal fry and upspeak, where you're like ending every sentence with a question-y sort of thing. You know what I'm talking about? People are talking like this, and it's like a thing.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the millennial.
It, but you get the idea.
That's that millennial thing, though, right? Like, because I heard Kara doing that.
Yes.
In the the first one, in the very first demonstration.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. So
they call that vocal fry. Vocal fry.
No, the vocal fry is that kind of this. It's this kind of thing. How you've got that sort of gravelly kind of thing in your voice. You know what I'm talking about? That's vocal fry.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the back of the throat move.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
So you'll see auditions that are like, please no vocal fry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then you'll. But there's. This is where we're going to talk about the Walmart versus the Whole Foods model. Okay, if you are not in the United States and you don't know, Walmart is the place you go when you want groceries on the cheap.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's big. It's big, 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 big. It's a big box store. It's like all the mom and pop stores got squashed.
It's convenient. It's convenient.
It's convenient.
Yeah.
It's
affordable.
It's on the less expensive.
Yeah.
Whole Foods, which maybe a lot more people know about because Amazon bought them up.
Yeah.
Back in my day when I lived in Seattle and I would go to Whole Foods, I liked Whole Foods. It's expensive at Whole Foods, but they've got some delicious organic stuff there. And in Seattle, they had a Jamba Juice bar and a sandwich bar, and it was delicious. Absolutely delicious. In the University District. Anybody here in Seattle?
Yeah.
I am 1,000% not professional because I mean the inflections. That's great. That's great.
But it's improvised, right?
Yeah.
Can I do that to an actual? Can I do that if somebody gives me a character description, and that's where you got to pull it out. You got to make the story for the character that somebody else has created. That was my creation, so I got to pick what I wanted. But if it's somebody else's creation, I still have to try and honor what they have. And by the way, in a lot of animation character work, you get pictures of the characters. This is another time when you call up Ira and you go, what does this look like? Who's this character I'm supposed to be representing? Who is that? What do they look like? What kind of monster is this anyway?
Yeah.
What was I saying? Oh, the Walmart versus Whole Foods. Okay. In voiceover, there are these levels. So Walmart, think Fiverr, think Upwork. Cheap, cheap, cheap voiceover. Plenty of voiceover opportunity there. Cheap, cheap, cheap. I do know people who claim they're making a lot of money on those sites. I don't have profiles on those sites at all. I've never tried it, so I can't say yay or nay to it. I don't know. Whole Foods is more like your agency voice gigs that you've gotten from some big agent, and it's like a lot of money. Or Whole Foods is also, if you're good at technical reading, if you can read those big medical words and all that sort of scientific, technical reads, which quite frankly, I love. It's a lot of what I do. There's a lot of money in those reads because a lot of people can't manage
No wonder you love it.
thrombosis and hemophilia or whatever. I can't think of any big medical words off the top of my head. Yeah. Those are terrible examples. But there's a tremendous amount of work in medical pharmaceutical, from clinical trials to training nurses and even surgeons on using new medical technology. On explaining new medical technology that's coming out to possible investors. So maybe it hasn't come out yet, and you will sign non-disclosure agreements when you do this kind of work. Because, a lot of times you're dealing with products that haven't hit the market yet. So Whole Foods is the big, expensive, cool gigs. And then there's a lot of space in the middle. So you can decide where you want to be.
Hold up. How much are these people paying for these medical scripts? Like, they're not scripts, right? That makes it sound like a prescription. I'm talking about like the
but I for medical narration.
Yeah.
Oh, you can make over $1,000 an hour.
What?
Oh yeah.
So I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm in the wrong business.
Hour, I'm talking about per finished hour. Okay.
Oh,
so
okay.
Per finished hour is a finished hour of audio. Okay. Are you taking notes, everybody? You should be taking notes. I should have warned y'all at the beginning.
Oh, let me get my slate. Let me get my slate and stylus.
Okay. If you have a minute of voiceover audio, is about 150 words, give or take. That is a conversational explainer video kind of voiceover minute, an e-learning kind of voiceover minute. If you're doing radio television commercials where you're talking a little bit faster because you got to get to it in 30 to 60 seconds or maybe even 15 seconds, then that's about 180 words a minute, give or take. And these are important things to know, because if somebody gives you a script and they're like, I'm going to put this on the radio, and it's going to be my local radio station, I'm going to put it on, it's going to be 30 seconds, and it's 109 words, you're like, wait a minute, are you really? How am I supposed to fit this? How am I supposed to do that? Right? Because half of 180 is 90. Exactly. Right? Half of 150 is 75. So really,
Mhm.
radio ads ought to be looking between 75 and 90 words. And when we get above that, yeah, it's
That is
possible,
good
but you're
to
going to be
know.
doing some
Yeah.
fancy footwork. You're going to be clipping out those breaths, clipping out those pauses in between, clippity, clippity,
Yeah.
clippity. And yeah. so
Man.
so
yeah.
that's it.
Is there such thing as a script designer? Is that a real term?
Like a copy editor,
Oh,
copywriter?
Okay, gotcha.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But
Gotcha.
there are a lot of small time businesses and local, spaces that
Exactly.
they
yeah.
got their in-house people, or people write their own voicemail or
Where's
whatever.
the standards to this stuff at? Why can't we get these standards out to people?
Because it's just not everybody does it that way. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. It doesn't happen that way.
But I feel like that's a hardcore standard. Like it's from 150 to 180 amount, word count. I mean, to me, that's like people should know. Like, hey, look, that's a minute, and that's a
But
really
did you know that
fast.
before we came on this? Did you know that?
Yeah, but I'm not in that world. Nobody wants to see anything that I
But
write.
if you're a local business and you just want your voicemail done, you have no idea. You're not in that world either.
Yeah, no, this is true. But what
You know
I'm
what I'm
saying
saying?
is that
Like-
and it's like it's like anything else. Like I'm not a mechanic, but I'm gonna go to YouTube and I'm gonna look up some videos, or I'm gonna Google, how do I do etch and sketch, right? But so like if there were like a document that would say just some.
Oh, listen, come on. Haven't you ever done computer technical support? My husband does computer technical support. He and I met because we were both doing technical support for Microsoft way back in the day.
Sure thing.
And people don't. He's worked for the state, like the state of New York. People don't want to read. They just come in and show me I was done. I don't. You're the expert. I don't know this stuff is done, right? So look, this is the thing though that you have to consider.
Yeah.
This is the thing you have to consider when you're considering the Walmart versus the Whole Foods of voiceover. You need to place yourself
That makes
and
sense.
remember that you are worth probably more than you think you are. Because the rates that you're charging people aren't, when people hear $1,000 per finished hour, they're like, whoa, that's incredible.
That's the business.
Yeah, but
for me.
remember that, have you ever seen a medical script like every other word is, Malexiconacab and Flexafrenifra, and there's like
Right, indeed.
and you gotta be able to pronounce that stuff, and sometimes you gotta go find it. You gotta go do the research. Okay, how do I say that? Where do I go? You gotta look up the YouTube, and you can find a lot of videos where you're getting Alex. We all know Alex. He's the guy on the iPhone.
Yeah.
He's the guy that we all hear.
Hey, I like that
when
guy.
we have,
He's all right.
our iPhone on voiceover, or on the Mac. He's on the Mac for the
He's on the
voiceover.
Mac. He is on the
He's
Mac.
a speech synthesizer guy.
Yeah.
And he's who else? You know what I'm talking about, like Alexa and Google and all of these speech synthesis voices. You can find them pronouncing big words. And if you listen to 2 or 3 of them, they'll pronounce it differently. You've got to find a person pronouncing it who's presumably in that industry. By the way, a great source for that, are you taking notes? Everybody taking notes? Youglish.com. It's YOUGLISH.com. And what's cool about Youglish is that when you type in the word that you want and you press the search button, it will try and find a video automatically. And it will just start playing it. And it will start playing it at the point where the word is actually spoken.
Ooh.
So you don't have to if you just do a general Google search, you're like going through YouTube videos. Okay, it says that the word is in here. I got to scroll through. Do I hear the word anywhere? No. All right. This one's really a speech synthesizer reading something. All right. But Youglish does a really good job. So Youglish is a great resource for that kind of stuff.
That's
golden, right? Golden stuff.
Is that free? Is that a free?
Wow. Yeah, it's actually
okay.
meant for language learners.
Like
it works really well for voiceover too.
I want to. We want to get to some questions.
Yes, Pradeep in India asked, "I forgot the first letter of COAT, COATT. Can you remind me?"
The first letter is commitment.
Awesome. Also,
commitment, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. It's a 2-part question. What kind of microphone are you using? And thank you very much, Pradeep.
Thank you.
I am
Pradeep.
currently using a Sennheiser MKH 416. Upstairs, my daughter's using an Audio Technica 2040.
Ooh, okay.
Um,
Which one you said Sennheiser? What now? I'm sorry.
MKH 416.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's make sure I like it getting that. Because she's brilliant like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then
Yeah. And look,
Kara?
here's look in terms of where to put your resources too, folks. I'm not a gearhead. I have a Focusrite Scarlett for my interface that's connected to my computer. It's the sound card it's a little rectangular box. I can literally pop it in a backpack and take off and go anywhere with it. It's tiny.
Yeah.
It's really cute. So it is the sound card that I run my microphone through and that I am using right now. And then, of course, there's a sound card in my computer, right? And that's where my speech goes through. And then I have the microphone. I mean, I have other stuff here, but like I'm not buying a new microphone every 3 to 5 months. I'm not. I couldn't tell you about the difference between 29 microphones and 3.5 interfaces. And once you have your gear, unless it fails, who cares? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? You don't want to dump a bunch of money into 109 microphones because you want to be dumping that money into, into coaching, into training, into marketing your business, in, all that kind of stuff. And you want to make money back. It's really easy to get excited about all of the different things that are out there and go after them. And then, you've dumped a bunch of money in and you haven't gotten any money out. So
we absolutely don't care about your equipment as long as it's as long as the audio makes sense at the end of the day, correct?
Yeah.
Because who cares? Like, who sees it?
Yeah, exactly. There are auditions where they want to know what it is.
Well,
sure.
Obviously, yeah,
But,
I can imagine that. Yeah.
Overall.
But I mean, I guess certain people may think that, certain, different pieces of equipment can do different jobs, which is a very true statement. I mean, obviously there's options out there, but find what works well with your voice, right? And find what you know. Like, work with what you know. Yeah, that's something you said earlier, Satana.
I'm muted because I was blowing my nose.
Oh man, we should have. Come on, you gotta keep it real with us. Keep it real with us. Hey, thanks for that question, Pradeep. I like it.
Currently, no questions.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay. This is okay. All right. So maybe.
Okay, so let me just make sure that we don't leave here without talking about where you can go to get into this. I'm going to throw out a lot of information. It's 4:18 already. I can't believe we're like done
Really?
by 5, right?
I think so.
Wow. Okay. So look,
we could be done by 4:19 if you want. I mean, I could.
there's so much to say.
That. Yeah.
So much to say. Okay. So remember that there's a ton of opportunity out there. Anybody who's telling you that there isn't any work in this industry, I don't know what planet they're living on.
I love this subject.
Yeah, it's huge, right? Everybody likes animation and video games. Here's what I want y'all to know about animation and video games. It's changing slowly. The pandemic has certainly made a dent in this, but I was just talking to somebody recently who lives in Los Angeles, and he was saying, God, I'd love to move states, but I'm just getting these great relationships with people in animation, and I want to build on them, and I don't want to leave yet. I've worked with coaches. In fact, the person who worked with me on that animation demo, who will tell you that, you can do animation anywhere because you can do voiceover anywhere. You don't have to be in LA to do animation. Yeah, and you're saying this because you're somebody who's been in the voiceover industry for 20, 30 years, and you have all the relationships to be able to back up doing animation from anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? He's got a website, and he's got marketing, and he's got social media, and he's got so many friends on Facebook. He's got to have more than one account. And he's got, you know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying? Like you can't say that to the newbie. The fact is that animation is still very much a Los Angeles thing. Now, like I said, that is changing from the pandemic. But a lot of that really is still done in LA. So let's talk about other voiceover opportunities. radio, TV commercials, but don't forget about other kinds of commercials, like all of those pre-roll ads that you see on YouTube, right? They show up before your video plays. They pop up and, unless you've got a Google subscription or, you've installed some kind of blocker, there they are. And by the way, the rates, if somebody is going to do paid social media placement versus just putting it on their YouTube channel or their Facebook page, the rates for the paid placement are much higher. So you want to make sure that you understand the usage. E-learning, we talked a little bit about e-learning in the terms of, medical, technical, scientific narration, but e-learning is also, I guess you could still kind of call it e-learning. There's a lot of videos that are sort of internal. You come into your local retail store and you start there as an employee, and they're going to tell you how they want you to sell their products. And they're going to show you how to use the cash register. Maybe you're moving into a management position, and they're going to teach you as a manager how to use all the tools to schedule your employee shifts and look at your metrics and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff is going to be done by videos. Lots of voiceover. Lots of explainers. Explainers are usually 1 to 3 minutes. Meet Joey's got a problem. Here's our solution. Here's how it works. Aren't we great? Go to our website to learn more. They're kind of formulaic, but they're short. They're great. And, they're $300 to $500.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
So is it uncommon to do multiple ones in a day? Can you finish like a project like that in a day?
Oh yeah. Well, you can finish voicing it in a day. You won't necessarily get paid that same day. It depends. And it won't necessarily be quote unquote done because you have clients that come back with changes. Maybe they'll change a word or two of the script or something after what they've talked to you or whatever.
Do you do any coaching?
Yes, I do.
So,
okay, let me finish. We'll get back to coaching.
Yeah.
In
No,
just a
go ahead.
second.
No,
Let me finish
I
my
had to
whole
get that
spiel.
out there. Yeah, I'm
No, I get
sporadic
it.
like that. Sorry.
Yeah, my coaching is $125 an hour.
Nice.
Because it's the industry. It's not. I'm not.
That's a good price though.
It is a good price. It's great.
Yeah.
So think about promo, right? Promo is something like if I share my screen again. Let me show you a couple different kinds of promo. First of all, remember that there's in-store promo. I don't have any showings of that here. But when you walk into your grocery store and you walk by and the toys are talking to you and the grill is talking to you and you go into Sam's Club and the different appliances are talking to you all about how they work. And Kira did something like that. She did a piece for Nintendo that was like that. It was really cool. Yeah. Okay. Different kinds of promo. News affiliate promo. What?
Every month, Southern Nevada grows by 7,000 new people, 7,000 new beginnings, new expectations, and new dreams. Channel 8 Eyewitness News. It's not just news, it's your news. Live from Music City, News 2 This Morning starts now. They paid for hurricane shutters, but claim this man ripped them off. Now, Florida's top cop weighs in. Tomorrow at 10 on 7 News. You work hard to keep this great city moving. That's why WCTV2 has the most experienced team of anchors, reporters, and meteorologists in Tallahassee.
Okay, this is actually a sub-niche of promo, right? It's just news. It's breaking news. It's tonight at 11. We're going to show you blah blah blah. But this is what people think of when they think of promo.
The greatest K9 athletes climb, weave, and go for the gold in the fastest sport on 4 paws. The AKC National Agility Championships, Sunday at 8, only on Animal Planet. While the media can only talk about them,
They allege that those who try to leave the colony are beaten and drugged.
only one person can get inside.
Not all women are child brides in these polygamous households, but many are.
Finding a New Truth premieres next Tuesday on Investigation Discovery.
Right. Okay. So that's your kind of you know what I'm talking about with that kind of promo.
Yeah,
It's the what's
the
coming
Utah one.
But did you notice the difference between the top and the first read and the second? The first was all happy, excited, and the second one was
Sure.
like really dark,
Yeah.
right? That's it. That's what your demo showcases are, those different things. In the United States, if you live in the United States, you have a wonderful opportunity to do things like this. We live in trying times, times of fear, of suppression, of hate. We don't need more or better leaders. We need to actually take the reins of power from them. We can do better. You're damn right we got this. He's a relentless warrior against corruption. John Ossoff. As a national security aide with top secret clearance, John Ossoff saw waste and abuse by military contractors and fought to stop it. If anyone can shake things up in Congress, it's John Ossoff. Okay, happy political ad. Is this the land history promised? Equality should have no boundaries. Worth should outshine color. If we can be equals here, we can be equals everywhere. You might. You see, I see how it's that music shapes it.
Yeah.
You know
yeah,
what I'm
definitely,
saying?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But yeah, political voiceover is so much fun because you get to be so mad. You're gonna attack it.
Yeah.
It's like a great stress relief.
So, cause I look at the news too, like it's entertainment. I mean, let's be real,
Yeah.
and so I can see that being promo. I definitely get that.
Yeah.
So I really, I could. I mean, even when there is zero music there, and you're doing these voiceovers. Because you're not listening to the music when you do it. I mean, you may have heard it, right?
But most oftentimes you don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it fits. Like,
Yeah, you have to know the story. You have to. That's why it's voice acting. You have to be able to tell the story. You have to get connected with it. And look, if the story is not your story, then you got to find somebody else whose story it is, and you got to get out of your own way and get out of the room and let them tell the story.
And that's why I was saying earlier, to really learn, of what's going on. Like, just familiarize yourself, educate yourself on, the different lifestyles out here and all different types of things, so that you can be sensitive when you're performing, because you're performing. I mean, and I think it's fair to say that you have a pretty diverse kind of palette. I mean, I hear you're doing, man, the promo stuff in different types of promos, e-learning, characters, both serious characters, because even though it's like, it could be like an adult cartoon type thing, or it could be kiddie, and you have to have that kind of sensitivity in your voice. Obviously, you've raised a kid, so you probably sat there and watched Elmo or Sesame Street or something, and so you kind of know what that is. I mean, and a person who doesn't know what that is, I don't think that they would fare very well.
And I've had a lot of coaching. I mean, I've been doing this since 2013. I've sunk a lot of money into those coaches, and it's worth it. It's worth it because, look, the reason that you have somebody else do your demos is because you don't know you. Like, I started out, I had my first demos done, and within 6 months, I had redone them because I had changed so much doing voiceover full time. And then 6 months later, I don't change them as much these days, but you change, you grow, you sort of metamorph into something that, you pull this stuff out of you. And that's just the value of great coaching.
Sure.
I don't want to miss talking about documentaries. People are familiar with that. Those were my first. So there's documentary reading, and there's a lot of.
I would love that.
There's a lot of stuff that's not broadcast. Remember, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity that's not broadcast TV or broadcast radio out there these days. So a lot of documentary style reading kind of comes up in this corporation is coming up on its 150th year, and we want to showcase its history. So we're going to tell the story of how it began and how it changed over the course of time and where it is now. And that ends up being, sort of that corporate kind of documentary There's some pride in there kind of thing.
Sure.
You get that. Audiobooks, huge, exponentially growing industry, audiobooks. And the beautiful thing about audiobooks is whatever you want to read, you got it. If you like fiction, you got it. If you like, I mean, even fiction and nonfiction, those are broad categories, right? Nonfiction, you can have biographies, you can have how-to, you can have self-help, you can have history, you can have, all sorts of different things in nonfiction, self-development. Look at Amazon, you'll see all the different categories. Fiction, you've got romance, you've got science fiction and fantasy, you've got mystery and thriller, you've got, so you pick a niche and you can find stuff to read. And then the last thing that I want to mention that is just so much fun. Okay, there's two. One is audio description. Everybody here, right? We're all blind. We all know what audio description is, right? More blind people need to be voicing audio description, ladies and gentlemen. This is a service for us that should be done by us. And then the last thing is, I feel like I'm speeding at 100 miles a minute. The last thing is voice of goddess announcing. So there are a lot of conferences. And there are a lot of award shows. Even something as, for like 3 years in a row, I did the Georgia Hotel and I forget what the L stands for, GHLA, something association. It was all these people that worked in all the hotels and stuff that you go to. So it was their award ceremony. So they were honoring the best housekeeping person and the best food preparers and the best wait staff. Yes.
So
it's a thing.
Was it Georgia Hotel or Georgia Hospitality?
That's it. Georgia Hospitality and Lounge. Yes,
or Laundry.
That's it.
Maybe Georgia Hospitality and Laundry Association.
I don't think it was laundry, but yes, the L is lounge,
right.
labor, lifestyle. I don't know. I forget what the L is, but yes, the hospitality industry. Yes, it's a huge award ceremony. So here's the thing with something like that. It's like 350 names. And they ain't John Smith and,
exactly.
Mike Lee.
Yeah. Let's keep it real.
It's there, there's all sorts of names. So when you do something like that, so what I would end up doing is the woman would send me, my client would send me this big, beautiful pronunciation guide. And she actually did a really good job with it. A lot of people cannot write pronunciation guides. And then we got on the phone together. I think the last time we did Zoom, we might have done Zoom.
Yeah.
And we went through the names just to make sure that I had them all correct. And I would record the ones that I was unsure of.
Oh. Okay.
And then while I was sitting on the phone with her so that I would get them correct. And then we got off the phone and I did all the recording and then sent it all to her.
Wow.
Yeah. So live announcing or pre-recorded quote unquote live announcements are a thing. Think of big companies, Salesforce. Does everybody know who Salesforce is?
I do.
Yeah, they're like, they do all this marketing. They have a CRM. They got all sorts of stuff, right?
Sure.
Yeah, they have quarterly meetings.
Ooh.
And I got to be the voice of goddess for Salesforce for a year, one of them.
Oh, nice.
That was really fun. Yeah. So live announcing is fun. You can actually go to conferences and live announce. I live announced the That's Voiceover conference in 2017, which was a blast.
Yeah.
And because it was a voiceover conference, I got to sit where everybody could see me reading off my Braille display.
How many people came up to you after that? Because that's impressive.
It was my third year at the conference. So.
They was tired of you then. They was done.
Yeah,
we didn't see this mess, so no need for this.
Yeah, the point I want to make is there's a ton of space. There's a ton of work. There are lots and lots of niches out there. If you are looking around going, gosh, I don't know where I fit, then this is a great reason for you to sign up with one of the many online casting sites out there. Voices.com, Voice123, Badalgo. I could do an entire webinar on the differences between them and, the advantages and disadvantages of each. I'm going to talk about voices.com for a second because they're one of the most accessible, and because you can actually create a free account on their site and do up your profile all sexy beautiful before you pay them a dime. And let me tell you, if you're going to go with voices.com, you want to do exactly what I just said. You want to go create an account as a voice talent and just make it gorgeous. Put up samples in every category. I use the word sample because a lot of times when we think of a voiceover demo, and a lot of the ones that I've played for you today, they're long. They have multiple reads in each demo.
Yeah.
And you can do a demo like that, and that's okay. But there's so much search engine optimization going on today. SEO. There's so many people just typing in what they want in a voice actor. Well, I want sincere and conversational and believable. And so you're going to tag every one of your demos. So if you've got 5 reads in a 60-second demo, it's hard to put every tag in all of that. That's because they only allow you 10 styles and 5 roles on voices.com.
10 styles and 5 roles.
Yeah, so a role would be something like a lawyer, a doctor, a clown, a brat, a girl next door, a leprechaun, a wizard, a presenter.
How does a wizard sound?
I don't know. I have no idea. An alien. But look, there's a huge list on voices.com of all these different roles, and then
you
styles.
pick from the list.
Yeah, so styles would be
Nice.
believable, conversational, approachable, relatable, helpful, enthusiastic, charismatic, energetic, high energy, calm, soft spoken, sassy, sarcastic. I could keep going. There are literally like 100 plus.
Yeah.
So you get 10 tags in each demo. You get 5 roles, and you get up to 3 accents. And then you get an age. So you pick, are you child, young adult, middle-aged, senior? What are you?
Yeah.
And you pick the category. So what a lot of these sites have gone to are these shorter samples, 10 to 30 seconds apiece. Because nobody wants to sit through a 60-second demo if your sarcastic read is 30 seconds in. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to say here is create your profile on a site like voices.com. Use as many samples as you want. They don't have to be perfect. They can be dry voice. And when I say dry voice, I just mean you talking and reading a script without any music or sound design in the background. But get it up there, tag it, because that's how people find you. In this industry, your demos are like your business cards, right?
Man.
So you gotta put that profile together, make that profile beautiful before you pay them anything. You want to make it gorgeous so that when you do lay down the money, because remember, the voices.com is a site that's going to cost you $500 a year.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
but if you get
we
one
go
of those
back to
medical
the
reads,
C in coat, ladies and gentlemen. This is called committed.
That's called cash.
Yeah, but you're running a business.
That's
You're going to
true.
have to spend money.
That is
You're
very
going to
true.
have to spend money. So again, where are you going to spend your money? What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
What is the thing that you need to learn to get you to the next step?
So
now,
would
wait a minute. This is really important.
Yep.
Everybody go onto voices.com, make your beautiful profiles, and then I'm telling you right now, they will have you in their system because you'll put in your email address that you want to use for your profile. And when Black Friday comes around, they will do a scrumptious deal where they'll give you like $100 and $150 off for the annual membership. So everybody go make your profiles now. You got they do it like right after Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving. So like 3rd Thursday, 4th Thursday, when is it in November? Whenever it is in November. You got over a month. Go make your profiles beautiful profiles. And then you can pay. And what voices.com will give you is they will send you every day 20 to 30 jobs, opportunities that match your profile. So in other words, female, English North American, middle-aged. Okay? I am not going to get jobs that are looking for only male talent. I may get opportunities that are looking for both genders, and I recognize that we have transgender and the fluidity of gender and all that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
on these sites, they are still just male and female.
Right.
So I just want to recognize that. But if it's both, which is how they write it, I will see those opportunities. But I won't see any of the jobs that are just for the guys. And I'm not going to see the jobs that are looking for anybody who speaks Spanish or Swedish or Portuguese or German. I'm going to see the jobs that are looking for English, North American, female talent. And I'm going to get 20 to 30 of them a day. And I'm going to get a few of them on Saturday and Sunday.
So that's their algorithm going to work.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what a site like voices.com allows you to do is it gives you a lot of flexibility in, first of all, you'll see scripts that are well written. You'll see scripts that are poorly written. You'll see job descriptions that are well written and job descriptions that are poorly written. You'll get a sense of what you like to do because there's so much stuff across the board on a site like that. Now, even before you pay for a profile, they will let you see the basic job listings. They won't let you click into them and see the script. But they will let you see, the name of the job, the rate that the client is looking for. And by the way, you can always bid higher. You may not get it, but you can always bid higher. Yeah. So, online casting sites are pretty great because it gives you a chance to do a lot of practicing and a lot of auditioning. And every time somebody hears you, even if they don't pick you for that particular project, maybe they liked you. Remember that in voice acting, oftentimes you're at the end of a big pile of people. So there's the client at the beginning, and the client has hired an ad agency. And that ad agency has written the copy, and then they have farmed out the video production to a production house. So the ad agency sends the copy over to the production house, and the production house hires the voice talent. We suddenly have 4 companies in the middle of this equation, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you are often at the end of the line here, and you know what I'm saying? So sometimes the production house staff will really like what you did, but when they send it back through to the actual client, the client picks somebody else. So every audition you do is an opportunity. Okay, do we have any questions? It's
No, I got a
4:43.
question.
Oh,
I got
you
a question. Now, do you offer your at the 125 rate if somebody did create a profile on voices.com, would you be able to critique for these?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, and it's $125 an hour, and then I do packages of 5 hours for $500. Is how I do that.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, nice. Yeah, and man, I know we're at the end, but
Currently, no questions. Dominic Stansberry had a question earlier with his hand raised, so I'm gonna allow
We
Dominic.
got the raised hand.
If,
Booyah!
he got the raised
if he
hand.
still wants to ask the question.
This boy got technology on his side.
But otherwise, no, there are no more questions current. Oh, he raised his hand. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Oh, hey. Second. And you should be like,
No, what's up? What's up? Hello. No, but I was gonna shut up, voiceover. You trying too much. Yeah, that part. Why didn't you try to be the Siri voice? Yeah, nice voice. Very nice voice.
Thank you.
Dominique, what's up?
So the question I was going I was going to comment earlier and say, because you were saying about the whole, you use a what was your interface? You said you use a
I have a Focusrite Scarlett. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying that Behringer UMC 202 is another great one to also use too.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very nice. Small as heck. This thing is Nice.
And in that the advantage to that one is that you don't have to download any software
Yes.
or the mix panel.
Well, on Windows it comes with it though. Well, no, yeah, Mac it does. I'm thinking about Windows. Sorry, Windows.
So is that true though? So on Windows, if you got Windows, it comes with the software. Now that software is accessible.
It's finicky, but it works. Yeah. Last time I tried it. You know how that is. It's finicky. Last time I tried that.
Yeah. I know the Scarlet stuff is pretty accessible once you get past the
headache, please no.
Hey, I'm cool to pair this with my iOS.
Yeah, but Iris, this is where Ira's your friend.
Oh, I shall die now. I shall die now.
Yep.
For sure.
I shall die. But anyway, I was trying to chat earlier and say that one thing because earlier y'all was asking about the interfaces, and over here I use a Shure MV5. It's a little bit USB mic, but
I like that. I like
it's
that
really
piece.
teeny. It's cool.
Yeah.
And I also have a MX770. I don't know what brand it's from or whatever, but it sounds good.
Now, are you doing voiceover work?
I'm currently.
I mean, we know you can sing.
Gotta do a little something, you know. I told you stop popping that gun.
Was that you that did? You just did that?
Me. Yeah.
Oh, that was Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry, right? Yeah. I forgot which one. Yeah.
Do it again.
What? I told you stop popping that gun. This is crazy. Yeah, I'll check out Tyler Perry, man. He crazy. He actually does a couple people in that movie. Yeah. So I was told. I didn't know.
Yeah.
For a while. I was like, oh, he plays multiple people.
Well, he's an actor, so he better be able to do it.
Right.
If he's doing it, I'm not saying all actors and actresses need to be able to do voiceover work. I'm just saying if you're, portraying something, you got to make me believe it at least,
So, Satana, how many accents have you had to do for your shows? Because, right now I'm watching a show called The Lucifer on Netflix, and the guy on there, he clearly doesn't definitely not sound like he's from here, but when he had to switch accents, I was like, oh, that was a switch. Okay.
I don't market myself as somebody who does accents. I don't market myself as somebody who does them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't put the work into doing them well.
Right.
And there's a thing. I mean, particularly around audiobooks. If somebody wants you to read an entire book as a Brit, you better really be able to read an entire book as a Brit because nobody wants to hear you.
Unless you're a Brit. Unless you're a Brit.
Right. So no, I don't market myself as somebody who does accents. And quite honestly, I know everybody loves animation and video games. I don't love it.
Why is that? Why is that? Why? I'm curious. Come on. Yeah, you still in the hot seat.
I don't know. I don't have an agent who specializes in it, for one thing. If you look on the online casting sites, a lot of animation and video game work is cheap. It's really inexpensive for what you're going to do. Because remember that when you're doing something
Rob Paulson
like
has said that a lot, actually. They get paid, they get paid a little, but they
multiple times.
Right.
You're not just going to give somebody one take. You're going to have to read it multiple ways. And essentially,
similar to recording in Pro Tools playlist,
becomes 300 or 400 because you're really having to read it multiple times in multiple ways. So it's just real.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah. So I'm here because I got to pay the mortgage for our house and feed the people and
the dogs.
Like, I don't. Yeah, and chickens.
Dogs.
And chickens.
Chickens. Oh,
yeah, chickens, especially in the wintertime. Got to feed the chickens because it's cold. They don't get to go and under the snow. They don't dig holes and. So the e-learning, medical, technical, scientific stuff. There's good money in it. There's good money in explainers. There's good money in live announcing and award shows, and I mean even voicemail. $100 for 30 seconds of voicemail, man. I would do that over a video game any day.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
so,
what about the call? Say, okay, you call. Huh? I see music, and you're just waiting in a call queue, waiting.
Yeah,
You're
there's
the person that will
on
be
hold
speaking.
is a thing.
You know,
Sure, on hold is absolutely a thing for voiceover.
Mm.
And
let's
remember
do
that
it.
if anybody wants you to put the on hold music in with your voiceover, that's additional money you need to be charging them.
Ooh.
We are at 450. I just want to make sure of a couple resources that I point out. If you want to look at real industry standard rates, folks, voices.com has a rate sheet. You can go to voices.com/rates, but their rate sheet does not reflect industry standard rates. If you really want to get a sense of just what those rates look like and how complicated they can get, look at GVAA. Search for the GVAA rate guide. GVAA stands for Global Voice Acting Academy. GVAA, Global Voice Acting Academy. And look up their rate guide. And
So,
that'll give you a sense of all the different rates that are out there and things like that.
man, hey, so one thing here. Once again, we back at those standards again. I mean, I think that I think that's important.
That
I mean,
everybody could go
that's a
by.
resource.
That's
Yeah, that's a resource that if you ain't taking notes, you better be, because it's right along with that other one. What was that again?
Youglish.com.
Youglish.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the reason y'all said the whole standard thing earlier is because, and I agree with some of that, because okay, we've got Reaper, we've got Pro Tools, we've got Logic, we've got all those great pieces of software that we have, but we don't have, like, we have, if you think of a scale of some sort, a lot of it's uneven. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as a community of people getting together and putting resources together to do stuff about A, B, and C, we've got them there, but they're not either as known as they could be, or they're not updated much, and they should be. So it's like, like Reaper, I know of because they did the tutorials. I know a lot of people in the community, Derek Lane, Patrick Purdue, all those guys. I know a lot of them, but that's the only one that I know of aside from Flow Tools is that is getting major hits. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Well,
as far as
resources are concerned, I understand that.
So,
but look, man,
that's what I want to put in. So,
thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you,
You're
brother.
welcome.
No. We about to spread out here, man. You got any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Oh, beautiful.
I need to talk to you later. So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, yes, sir. Man, thanks for the.
We have one more quick question, Byron, from Pam. And we're at 4:52.
Yay!
Hey, Pam. Hi.
Is Pam raising her hand, or is Pam typed in the chat?
Pam is raising her hand and is live whenever she is ready.
Sorry. I was trying to unmute the microphone.
Oh, there you go. Hi, Pam. How you doing?
I'm fine.
You made it. Yay.
I did.
I'm throwing up my hands in happy goodness.
Well, thank you all so much for this webinar, and thanks to Satana for inviting me. I just had a question about auditioning at voices.com. When you pick your different styles, do they provide a script for you to read, or do you need to bring your own material?
When you're making your samples that you're going to upload to the site, you're going to have to come up with your own stuff. Or they do have a script library on voices.com. I don't know where it is off the top of my head, but it is there. I'll have to dig it up. But there is a script library that you can use for sure. Once you've paid, when you go into a job, there is generally 99% of the time an audition script there. So again, your samples and your demos become sort of your business cards. But these days, most people don't book you off of your demos. They book you off of listening to you read their particular script. And so in each job, I can go over here. Hang on one second. Share computer sound. Is that checked? Okay, it stays. I was just worried. It stays checked. I'm not looking on voices.com. I'm looking on Voice 123 right now. But where's Voices? I have all these.
Is that another profile site? Voices 123.
Voice, yes, Voice 123.
Voice 123. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
And again, on Voice 123, you can. Okay, let me just show you this one. So this is called Avenging Adam, audiobook thriller. They give you a job number. They show it to the date that it was posted. English, North American. The role is narrator. The styles are genuine, articulate, female. For the gender, age is young adult, 18 to 35. Word count, 62,450. And on voices.com, they will show you what that equals in finished minutes.
Ooh.
And they base it on 150 words per minute. So that's 6 hours, 56 minutes, 20 seconds. They give you the client's name. She's not yet rated, otherwise they would show reviews. Her budget for this is $100 to $249.
No.
Yes.
$100 to $250?
Yeah, for that much work.
Nah.
Yeah, no, is exactly right. So look, it depends, right? If you really like to do audiobooks, this shows the deadline, by the way, October 15th. And it also shows something called the 100% voice match. And on voices.com, the other reason that you want to really set your profile up well is that this voice match matters. You want to have a demo in this category that this person is in. You want to have a demo that has young adult, if that's what you do. Because if you only have middle-aged, it'll tick your voice match down to 90%. You want to have the styles tagged somewhere in your profile of articulate, genuine. You want to have that narrator role somewhere in there. Because all these things, if you don't have them in your profile, lower your voice match score. And the way that voices.com shows auditions is that the people who match at 100% are shown first. So even if you are the first to audition, if your voice match is 80%, the minute all these 100% people show up behind you're still going to get pushed down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that profile is really important. Okay, I'm going to click on this job. I'm just clicking the reply to job button. And I know where I'm going, so I'm going to use headings. I go Control Home to the top of the page, and then I do Shift H to go back a couple to find the headings. It's going to tell me a job audience, readers of suspense thrillers. Job additional information. Okay, this is the job description. This book has 3 POV. Anybody know what POV means?
Points of...
Yep. Points of view.
View.
The primary is a female K-9 FBI agent, 30 years old. The second is a male FBI agent, slight Spanish accent, 30 years old. The third is a male villain. And then the sample script is a downloadable file. So there is no script here on the webpage. I actually have to click the download button to download this document. I'm going to click it just to see what I get. You should be able to see my screen, by the way. And it is a docx file. So I'm not going to look I'm not going to download it. I'm not going to look any further. I just wanted to show you. This is where you can see, sometimes it's a PDF, sometimes it's a docx. Now, for me, I wouldn't do this job.
Because of the money?
I could bid the money up. You can, if you were really excited. Now, I can't say that. I can't say that I wouldn't do this job because I haven't looked at the script, at the actual script of the audition script. So I don't know how well the audiobook is written. In a lot of audiobook cases, people write their own audiobooks and they don't hire an editor. Right? So you get these people who've written something and they haven't edited or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm unlikely to do it just because there's too many opportunities for me. I'm a platinum member on voices.com. So everything that matches my profile, I get. Everything. Whereas if you're just a regular premium member at $500 a year, you get a slice of what matches your profile. So if you look at my profile, if you're able to see this screen, I just refreshed it. I thought I did. It did not refresh. Are they kicking us out of here at 5? Are we still? I just want to make sure we're still here.
No,
we're good. It's still loading on voices.com.
It's still loading because there's like 100+ jobs.
So Pam, can you see?
No.
No, Pam's
Pam is
rocking it with
blind?
a braille display over there.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Excellent. Excellent.
We've been
I just have
chatting.
to figure out where I'm going to get my scripts to read with.
Oh. That makes sense.
So it
That makes sense.
refreshed. It refreshed. Mm-hmm.
All right.
It refreshed, and there are 207 jobs in my queue
As of today.
right now. In
That
this
could
moment.
change tomorrow.
That could change in any
In a
moment.
minute.
Some jobs could show up, and some could be hired. And now I've got these sorted responses, low to high.
Mm-hmm.
I can sort them by newest, so most recently posted, oldest, voice match, budget high to low. If I sort by budget high to low, it'll show all the jobs with the highest budgets. And so the top budget up here is $4,300. Here's one for $1,750 to $1,999. Another one, $1,500 to $1,799. Another one of that same thing. A third one of that same thing. $1,250 to $1,499. You see what I'm saying? Like I can sort. So to even talk to this person about her $100 to $249 job, it's not likely. Right?
Yeah, nah. Ooh, man, that's insane. I know we up here at the 5 o'clock hour on you guys. It's time 4 o'clock for us. You got any more questions, Pam?
We have a
Not at the moment.
we have a
Thank you.
comment from Matthew Schifrin. There are JAWS scripts for Samplitude, a German DAW. There's also a supportive community. And that was
There
Matt.
is indeed. Yes.
And then we have no more questions.
Oh, Matt got
Nice.
to show up too. Yay. It's exciting.
All right. Okay. I mean,
All these
I
people.
didn't hear it. Pam, you didn't have any more questions? That was pretty much?
No, I don't have any. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure. I don't want it to stop the flow, even though we're at the end here.
I will tell you this, that the thing that stopped me from doing this way earlier than I did was exactly where Pam's at. Oh my God, I got to come up with my own scripts. That's it. I don't want to write copy. Ugh, yuck. I don't think that hard.
Yeah. So I mean, but how'd you get past it? You just went and got somebody's scripts and.
No, I went and had my demos done by somebody else. And when you go and you have your demos done by a demo producer, they will provide scripts to you. That's
And that
part
costs
of the deal.
money. Yeah.
It does.
Back to
But look,
commitment.
listen, here's another way to do this. Here's a really cool, cheap way to do this. If you dig audiobooks, if you think you rock at accents, or if you don't have a lot of money, go to acx.com. A like Apple, C like Charlie, X like X-ray. acx.com. You can either create a new Amazon account, or you can use the current Amazon.com account that you have, because ACX, it's the Audiobook Creation Exchange, I think is what the acronym stands for. It's a weird acronym. And it's where rights holders put up the titles that they want narrated, and where producers or narrators come in and audition to narrate them. So it's an Amazon property. Anything that gets placed on ACX gets put up on Audible, and of course goes out to iTunes and things like that. It's free to join. Like I said, you can just use the Amazon account you've already got.
Brilliant.
They will ask you for your tax information. What's your social security number if you're not LLC or incorporated or something like that. You can do this if you're in the U.S., if you're in the U.K. I believe you can do it if you're in Canada. And if you're in some other country, there are ways to get a U.S. address and, create a U.S. company, and you could do that. There are definitely books that are not in English that need to get narrated. So the way that this works is there's a couple of ways. One is you can do a book for royalty share. And what that means is that you do all the work up front. You narrate the whole book, you put it up, it goes on sale, and boy, you better hope it sells. And for every sale that it gets, you get 20%. And the rights holder gets 20%. Now, I'm saying rights holder because in a lot of cases,
Yeah.
A book's author is not the rights holder. The
Not the right-
publisher
yeah,
holds the
exactly.
rights, right? So
Yeah.
we call it a
Yeah.
rights holder rather than an author. So you get 20%, the rights holder gets 20%, and Amazon Audible gets 60%. And that's how royalty share works.
Mm.
You can also do per finished hour. Amazon will let you choose what kind of per finished hour rates you want to search on or look at. There's everything from 0 to 50, 50 to 100, 1 to 250, 250 to 400, and 400 to 1,000. I'm trying to remember if it's. I think I have those ranges right. I might have those ranges slightly incorrect, but basically, good grief, don't do yourself the disservice of doing anything for less than $100 per finished hour. Because remember, per finished hour, folks, is roughly 9,000 words of finished audio. 9,000 words. And to read a book of 9,000 words is going to take you multiple hours. Remember that as a voice actor in today's world, you don't walk into a studio and simply read. You are often the voice actor. You are the engineer. Sometimes you are also the editor and the person who masters the book. Now, you can farm those things out. Again, that's going to cost you money. You can do it, and when your business gets big enough, it's probably a smart idea for you to do it. But ACX is great because it's all free. So you can do the per finished hour, you can do the royalty share, or you can do a per finished hour royalty share split, which is kind of cool. There's a lot of books that they just don't sell well. So it's always it's a crapshoot if you do this royalty share thing. But here's the thing. If you do a royalty share and it sells well, oh my gosh, Amazon will take your information. So they'll take your bank account info. They want your routing number. They want your account number. And they will just direct deposit the funds automatically into your account for the next 7 years. It is an amazing passive revenue stream. And I have a book that I read called Keto Adapted. If any of you are familiar with the ketogenic diet, where you eat lots of fat and less protein and almost no carbs. Yeah. And the woman who wrote this book, Maria Emmerich, she has a blog and she has a following and she's got a Facebook group, she got a podcast, I mean, she got everything. And this book has made me thousands. If I would have done it per finished hour, I wouldn't have, it's made me thousands. Wow. And again, I did the work. It's like a 10-hour book. It was a lot of work. I hired an editor.
Wow.
I hired an editor who I paid $50 per finished hour.
Yep. One time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did the editing. And what's great about what an editor will do, a good editor, they will also proof and edit. So your mistakes, they'll just send you back a sheet that says, you know what, this time you said these words and the script says this. And you just send them back the pickups and they drop them in. It's pretty fantastic. So yeah, royalty share books can be amazing. Or they can be absolutely terrible. I've got probably a couple out there that have, 1 or 2 sales and that's it. So it's a bit of a crapshoot. And it used to be that you could only do royalty share or per finished hour on Amazon. It is only recently that they have added the royalty share plus per finished hour split. So if you're interested at all in audiobooks, remember that audiobooks don't have to be 10 hours or 5 hours. Right. And when you do searches on Amazon, you can actually filter by the length of the title. So if you're like, okay, I want to try an audiobook, but I don't want something that's like over an hour because that feels like overwhelming, you can do the filter on that. It's an amazing way to get practice. Lots of people do audiobooks with USB mics. Amazon is particular about the volume of the audio that you upload and that kind of thing. And a little bit particular about your background noise, but you can have a lot of mouth clicks and a lot of breathing in there, and they're not so particular about that. Their standards aren't as high as people think they are. So, if you don't have a lot of money, but you're interested, audiobooks, great way to do accents and have a lot of fun reading there's a lot of scientific, science fiction, fantasy, or mystery and thriller, out there. If you're feeling, I do know people that have made careers out of reading erotica. I have to say it because
nice.
sex sells, and you do not have to narrate under your own name.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can always create a pen name, and
I've been told I had a nice voice. I mean,
yeah.
I might could do that.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, I got 5
Yeah.
kids. I
Yeah,
know
you
what
don't
I'm
have to
talking
do it
about.
under your own
Yeah,
name at all. Mm-mm.
for sure,
No.
for sure. Hey, look, Pam,
So-
thanks for hanging with us today and the questions. Amazing. Satana, I want people to know if they need your services. And particularly or more importantly, your coaching services. Like how can they do that?
You can reach me at info at satana.com. My name is Satana, S like Sierra, A-T like Tango, A-U like uniform, N like November, A. Satana.com. Info at satana.com.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
That's that. Social media? Anything? You got social media?
Oh, yeah. You can hunt me down on social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Yes.
She's all around. Hey, Satana, thank you.
This was so much fun. Thank you, everybody, for participating and all like
Absolutely.
that. And we need more of us in the community. So
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this too. In a couple weeks, in a few weeks, we got the dog comparison. So those that are here that want to, even Dominique was kind of talking about the different options as far as accessibility. As accessible dogs are concerned. We're going to compare, if you will, Samplitude and Reaper and Logic and Pro Tools from a blind perspective. So come on, join us, check us out. Thank you to one of the best in the world that's ever did it, Miss Alaiki.
No, you hang up. No, you first. Thank you. Thank you.
And hey, everybody, enjoy the weekend. And we will, I guess we'll be ending this. Yeah, let's
thanks,
do that.
everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye. Be well.